Councillor John Sheehan to address you.
Good morning, everybody. Elected members, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished visitors. As Xacier Dubison County Council, I want to begin by warmly welcoming you all to Limerick. I am particularly delighted to welcome delegates who have travelled from various parts of Ireland and throughout Europe to attend today. In fact, I know a number of speakers lined up to address today's seminar will be speaking about the experiences of local authorities in Ireland in relation to energy efficiency and the subject of financing. I'm happy to say that the actions that have been undertaken by the Council in the area of energy efficiency are in keeping with the support the objectives of the Stepprojectu, which today's seminar forms part of. The public sector continues to face challenges in implementing local and regional policies to meet the EU targets for energy.
I'm delighted to be here and to speak on behalf of the Kingdom, coming from Belgium. It's all appropriate, I think. Michael, I'm sorry to start my presentation at your own time, but I'll try and make this quick. The subject of this presentation is the experience of County Kerry in embarking on signing up for the Covenant of Mayor. So I'll describe for a while the different aspects of the Covenant of Mayor, how the process happened in County Kerry, and how it fits within a broader and an ambitious programme of energy efficiency and renewable energy development in the county. So the Covenant of Mayor is a European initiative that was kick-started in 2008 by DG Energy, and its real objective is to support, endorse local authorities and regional authorities in their plans for reducing their climate change impact. It's a voluntary commitment, so in many ways it's quite similar to what Motiva is doing with local authorities, businesses, etc., but I suppose it's at a European scale. And it's basically signatories are committing to fulfill the European emissions or objectives and targets to for 2020, i.e. reducing energy consumption by 20%, increasing renewable energy supply by 20%, and CO2 emissions reduced by 20% as well. And that resides essentially with the implementation of a sustainable energy action plan. At this stage, there is over 5,000 signatories. So at some stage, I'll tell you this is kind of elite club in Europe. 5,000 local authorities is quite substantial, and the uptake has been very exponential over the last while, and the numbers are going up all the time. In Ireland, there are 5 signatories: South Dublin County Council, Dublin City Council, Cork County Council, Kerry County Council, and Waterford County Council. The motivations to join the Covenant of Mayor are essentially to officialise and bring to a European stage local commitments to reduce the environmental impact of the local authority through its energy consumption. And that puts a very good framework into place to set targets, to have a political commitment, and to plan and mobilise resources and take action on the ground. As I said to you, it's one of the key benefits is to be part of a European-wide movement of elite and pioneering local authorities in this area, and that provides extensive benefits in terms of sharing expertise, experience, and drive and ambitions among the members of the club. If you look at the SAPs, they are very ambitious and strong political commitments. And that commitment is not only made public at a local level, but also at a European level. The good thing with the Covenant of Mayor is that it provides a very strong, let's say, accountability framework, whereby the targets are being measured and judged and reported on. It's, as I said to you, it's also a good platform to promote the merits and the good things that are done in your region or in your town, and that at a European context. Key motivation, at least for Kerry County Council, was to have an open door for support, namely financial support in the form of a lot of different programs that are available from the European Commission, but also technical support available again via projects or via the infrastructure that has been put in place by the European Commission for managing the Convent of Mayor. Huge networking opportunities, etc. So in the context of Kerry, a key starting point was the fact that they wanted to establish 2 district heating projects in the biggest towns of the county, i.e. Tralee and Killarney. And the investment is obviously very, very significant and beyond the reach of their own resources. So therefore they had their eyes on structural funding and different funding mechanisms available from the European Union. And it was made clear to them that joining the Convent of Mayor would be a good first step in that direction. The process of signing up and being part of the Convent of Mayor is illustrated in this slide. First of all, there needs to be a strong political commitment to join the Convent, and that is materialized with the signature of that Convent of Mayors. Part of that is obviously to set up a long-term vision. The minimum requirement there is to reduce your energy-related CO2 emissions by 20%, to establish your resources. So that's the human and financial resources for the implementation of the plan, to set up, or let's say to compile a baseline emission inventory. I'll come back to you on that. That's where I came in the picture in supporting them in doing that process, that part of the work, and to develop an action plan. And that typically is done in collaboration with local stakeholders and citizens. So communication again is very important from that point of view. The second step then is, once all that has been done, is to submit your SEAP and to start implementation. Now, implementation in Kerry has not started with the submission of the SEAP, which was made late last year. It's been a lifelong project of many people in the County Council in particular. With implementation comes measuring the impact and monitoring the impact and reporting on the impact, and regular reports have to be submitted, which are then scrutinized by the Covenant of Mayor team at European level. Feedback is provided, and the ball keeps rolling. In terms of the SEAP, it's the key document that shows how the signatory will reach its CO2 reduction targets by 2020. It defines the activities and measures that have to be set up to achieve the targets, together with the timeframes and who's responsible for what. As I said to you, there's 5 local authorities have signed up to the Convent of Mayor, and 4 have published and approved SEAP, including the Kerry local authorities. So keys to a successful SEAP include, first of all, having a very strong commitment at political level, but also having support from the different stakeholders. So it's again very important to communicate with those stakeholders and engage with them and bring them on board in the process. Secure long-term political commitment, I've already said that. Ensure adequate human and financial resources. It's pretty obvious, but it's you know, once you've signed up to the paper, you have to deliver, and that requires huge resources, and you need to be prepared for that. You need to plan for it. You need to know what you're getting into and how you're going to scale up your investment in that regard. Your SEAP has to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound, and it must be based on your baseline emission inventory. so that every second year your progress is benchmarked against that baseline inventory. Moving from the planning and the signing up, or let's say the publication of the plan, you need to integrate that in the day-to-day activities of the local authority. You need to have people that are constantly planning and implementing projects and are on the ball in that regard. To do that effectively, you need to have a strong team that is capable of delivering and training, and let's say coaching, mentoring is important from that point of view. As I'm sure you all know, and it's pretty obvious from the previous presentation, this is a long-term effort and required the ability to plan and to keep focused in the long term as well. And to another aspect of a successful LCAP is to look at what the others are doing. Don't hesitate to copy and paste where it makes sense. If you look at the website of the Conference of Mayors, there's a huge array of different projects that are presented there as case studies or commitments, etc. And it's very inspirational, I have to say. So moving on to how the Kerry local authorities are sitting in that regard. As I said, the Conference of Mayors was signed up to in January 2012 by Kerry County Council and also the Tready, Killarney and Listowel Town Council, so some of the biggest towns in the county. The Sustainable Energy Action Plan was submitted in early 2013, and that's a plan that covers the period between 2012 and 2020. As I said, the target there is reducing CO2 emissions related to energy consumption by 20% by 2020. And the baseline emission inventory was done for the year 2008. As I said, the LCAP is not just a first step in the right direction. There is a long tradition of energy efficiency and renewable energy development by the local authorities in County Kerry. There is a very active and proactive local energy agency there that has achieved a lot in relation to retrofitted buildings, in upgrading their facilities and services in terms of water services, for example, street lighting, etc. District heating has been put in place in Tready, and they're obviously aiming to expand from that, and that particular district heating system is based on biomass, so a very strong commitment to renewable energy in the county. There's also a very good institutional and community framework within the county, as I've been able to witness. The Kerry local authorities have been working very closely with CAI for a long period of time now, and the CAI supports a large number of projects, both in housing and let's say public services. At a, let's say, political institutional level, County Kerry is now a very good renewable energy plan as part of their county development plan, which is extensive and detailed. There is also a good linking up with community groups. Transition Kerry is partnered with Kerry County Council to come up with a renewable energy roadmap, and I'll mention that briefly afterwards. The baseline inventory is based on a very extensive research to identify and quantify energy usage and the associated emissions within the county. It requires a mix of bottom-up and top-down data, let's say mining. So for example, we had the team of interns working within the county council to do an energy audit of a large number of businesses and public buildings within the county and its main towns. That enabled us to develop a series of key indicators of energy usage within businesses, which is largely not available from, let's say, top-down resources from SEI, for example, or other public bodies. That enabled us to have a fairly good handle on what businesses and services within the county are using. On the residential side, I did a very extensive analysis of the data that's now made available by SEI from the Building Energy Rating Scheme, and to come up with estimates for a number of, let's say, buildings by age or by size and to apply that across the building stock within the county. And then we use, let's say, national estimates and extend it from that to find, let's say, to come up with reasonable estimates of energy consumption within the transport sector, agriculture and fisheries in particular, and within industry. So a few key results. This pie chart shows you how energy usage, and in terms of final energy demand, is panning out in the county. 36%, is from in the residential sector. Again, that's for 2008, our baseline. Transport is 35%. Industry, quite small in the county, 9%. Agriculture and fisheries, 1%, and services, public and private, around 19%. So that's equivalent to 4 million megawatt hours per year. And if you portion that by the number of households in the county, that's equivalent to about 8,000 litres of oil in energy equivalent. How that's in terms of fuel usage, you can see that oil is very important in the county in terms of energy supply, obviously for transport, but also for heating purposes. Electricity is 26% of the final energy consumption. Of that, 7% is renewable and 19% is non-renewable. The rest is LPG, coal, peat. Renewable heat is significant. It's at 5%, and there is hardly any penetration of renewable energy in transport fuels. That shows how the let's say different fuels intervene in the supply of electricity in the county, with 47% coming from natural gas, mostly from the national grid. Coal is about 8%, 12% would be, sorry, I need to start from the right side. So, 47% is gas, 8% is oil, 12% is coal, 2% would be national imports, national renewable energy supply. So, within the accounting procedure of the SCAP guidelines, you have to consider as local renewable energy production that is below 20 megawatts capacity. So smallish wind farms, hydropower plants are considered as part of the local renewable energy mix, and that's reflected in the pie chart there. At the local authority services level, the pie chart shows how the energy consumption is split between transport, buildings, water services, and public lighting. The key one there is buildings at 14%. Water services is very important at 51%, and what's next? 23% for buildings. And no, sorry, public lighting is 12%. Yeah. If you then, let's say, transform that energy consumption in kilowatt hours to CO2 emissions, you'll find that the residential sector is responsible for 35% of the CO2 emissions. The public sector has a smallish contribution of 2%. Commercial services, that's businesses, retail, etc., is 24%. Agriculture and fisheries is 1%, despite the fact that the county is quite agricultural. Industry 8% and transport 30%. If you look at the share between transport, electricity and thermal, you can see on the graph there that electricity is by far, in terms of CO2 emissions, the biggest contributor. And again, if you split if you divide the overall CO2 emissions by the number of households within the county, it's equivalent to about 9 tons of CO2 per year. Most importantly, money. The energy bill of the county was estimated at 470 million euros a year. So if we can reduce 30% of the energy consumption with the county over the period of getting to 2020, that allows huge amount of money being available for investment in renewable energy, and that we're moving towards 100% renewable energy supply in the county becomes a feasible possibility. Again, if you divide the overall spending by the number of households, it's quite striking figure of 4,400 euro per year spent on energy within the county. The next step is to put all these figures into the baseline emission inventory on the website of the Conduct of Mayor, so it's publicly available. It sets the benchmark for improvements over the next years, leading to 2020. Again, the next step is to take the SEAP and put targets and figures in terms of investment requirements, in terms of estimated savings over the period, and demonstrating that you're working effectively towards your target of 20% reduction. Kerry County Council has already received the first feedback report on the CAP, and believe me, they're looking at things into detail. It's not just let's say a nice piece of paper that you sign up to. It's a real commitment, and they're committed to make sure that you're going to deliver what you're saying you will. Just to say this, my contribution to the Conference of Mayors' efforts by Kerry local authorities was to help them developing the baseline emissions, and that was done in the context of another study which aimed at developing a roadmap for the transition of the county to 100% renewable energy supply by 2030. That study is now completed. We're expecting to launch the report in the coming weeks, and we'll make sure that you're made aware of that. I'm sure that there'll be further presentations opportunities in that regard. Just to give you a flavour of what was done, we looked at all the renewable energy resources within the county and the potential they present. We looked at, analysed different scenarios of moving that direction, came up with a number of performance indicators from an energy point of view, but also from a job creation point of view, and from a CO2 point of view. Looked at infrastructure development required to achieve that, and the integration of both energy supply, demand management, storage, district heating systems, etc., over let's say the next 20 years. Job creation potential is huge. 3,000 jobs for moving that direction over that period of time. And that's my details if you want to contact me for a similar study in your own county.